Hello and welcome to another MCO update on Solana. We are still dealing with the same structure here on this chart, and that means the idea that a wave 4 bottomed on the 7th of April remains alive. That's still my idea. That's a thesis at the moment. Of course, we can really only confirm that formally once we get ideally 5 waves to the upside. We only have 3 at the moment. This top that formed on the 25th of April is a 3-wave top so far. We have a wave 1, a wave 2, and this could be the 3rd wave. So we need another 4-5 pattern, okay, to get this 4th wave and the 5th wave. And then it needs to prove that this upside trend reversal is really genuine, it's really something sustainable. How can it do that? And well, it can do that by holding obviously a higher low in a corrective pullback. So it's always the higher low in the next pullback that will be the stress test for the bulls. So if we track a 5-wave move up, then it's very important to understand that a 5-wave move is only the first confirmation that a trend is changing from a downtrend into an uptrend. 5 waves up is the first confirmation. What else do we need? As I said, corrective pullback, holding a higher low in a defined support area. That's the second level of confirmation. And the third level of confirmation will be a break above the first 5-wave move high. Now, of course, doesn't mean that a break above that high will be the best entry point. I'm talking about what is acting as confirmation from an Elliott wave analysis point of view. Typically, a good reward to risk ratio can be achieved by layering in positions in a support zone for a wave 2 pullback, the higher low. Because even if it fails, the risk is fairly low, because we're deep in support, very close to an invalidation point. And the invalidation point is the beginning of the 5-wave move up. That, in this case, is the 7th of April low, and that's at $95.50. Now, when we track 5 waves up, then obviously that 5th wave is still missing, as you can see. And it doesn't mean we have to get 5 waves. It just means that if we get 5 waves, we can expect the price to hold a higher low afterwards, right? We can expect to hold a higher low afterwards. At the moment, if we go down and test this lower support area now, I would expect, or I would not expect, I would assume the price has only formed a 3-wave move up, and therefore probabilities are not as clearly bullish. They will be very balanced. With a 3-wave move up, it means it could just easily be a corrective rally. But we'll see, the levels are still relevant. It's just that it has an impact on probabilities. Now, in the very short term, I explained to you already yesterday that it is possible that in the yellow scenario, the 4th wave already bottomed this week in a WXY structure that was on Wednesday. And as long as we stay above that level, it's possible the 5th wave has started. And this is wave 1, and we're now in the wave 2 pullback. Not much happened since yesterday. The price is in this target area for a wave 2. Ideally, it holds now the $143 level, avoids a decisive break below that. Again, the invalidation point is the Wednesday low for this 1-2 setup. That means a 5th wave could be unfolding. 5th wave would also have 5 waves, and we've seen waves 1 and 2. There's clearly no confirmed low yet, and I explained to you already yesterday that a break above $152, the B wave high, is needed for a first indication that the next move up has started. And then getting 5 waves to maybe $167 to $170 would be considered a completed pattern. However, what if we break below $143 followed by a break below the Wednesday low? I would probably just assume the 4th wave is still unfolding. This here at the moment is a first upside reversal attempt on the smaller time frame. And again, it shows you we have an initial potential 5-wave move up, and this is now the stress test for the bulls. Now, it's not a good idea normally to buy the top of the 5-wave move. It is, however, considered a good reward to risk ratio when we are dealing with a pullback, especially if the pullback is a 3-wave move, which it is at the moment, and we get a pullback after a first upside breakout attempt, okay? And as long as we're above support, this scenario is plausible, but we haven't seen yet a reaction that would indicate that the bulls are turning up to drive the price higher in the third wave. But that is what I'm going to watch for as long as we're holding $143. Below that level, a wider wave 4 is possible, or even a test of lower support, but then the price will need to prove itself again, or prove again another upside reversal attempt with another 1-2 setup. That means if we break below 143, trend is clearly down again, and then we're waiting for the next 1-2 setup as an attempt of an upside reversal. Yeah. For now, these are levels to watch. Next micro support, $144.28, and then this area around $143. But overall, the context hasn't changed. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. If you are a member, you can get access to additional member videos. For example, Nia was covered today with VTHO yesterday, Jasmine a couple of days ago. In addition to that, today we've got our member live stream at 5 p.m. UTC. If you have any questions about Elliott Wave, the analysis, you can. This is a great spot to ask them. In recent days, I've seen some misunderstandings in the comment section. People don't understand the analysis. Well, if you have any question about the analysis, consider to join our member live stream. I'm always happy to answer all questions. I often see that people don't understand Elliott Wave. I always recommend people read the Elliott Wave Principle book to understand how Elliott Wave works. These videos are no tutorials. We have tutorials in the membership, but this here is a channel about market updates, of course. Still, I try to keep it as accessible as possible, as simple as possible, but nevertheless, a certain knowledge is required. Then obviously, on Discord, you can get access to gold and silver updates as well, additional market updates. You can also ask questions and connect to the community. So check it out. Have a great day. Bye-bye.